Hello friends, my name is Vivek Chaudhary and I have recently cleared my CS professional examinations in June 2016. I successfully completed the course and have also secured an All India rank 1 in my new syllabus. Now, post clearing the examination, I have received a lot of queries from the students all across India. Now, most of these queries was concentrated around what should be the preparation strategy, how should I prepare, when should I prepare, from where should I prepare. Some even went to the extent of asking me what should I eat or what should I don't. Now, so I don't blame the students for it because I have been through the same phase not long ago. So I don't blame the students. It's all about the skepticism that is around these professional courses. It's all about the doubts that we have in our mind regarding these courses given such low percentage pass marks which are there, and also given the fact that we doubt our own capabilities. So before I actually begin about the preparation strategy, I think it would be beneficial for all of us, especially those students who have recently cleared their class 12 examination, to know more about these courses. Now, once a student clears class 12 examination, he has a plethora of courses around him. So he has an option of CA, CS, CFA, CWA, MBA and a lot more. Now, many of the students have one doubt in their mind: what are these courses about? What are the career opportunities in them? How is CA related to CS? Whether I can take up both the courses simultaneously, and so on and so forth. I would actually begin with the Chartered Accountancy course. As the name suggests, Chartered Accountancy course is not at all about accountancy. It encompasses a wide range of business aspects including accountancy, taxation, auditing, law and various other subjects. Now, what are the skill sets which are required for actually cracking this course? I would say the most important skill set is number crunching. You should be good at quantitative analysis. You should be good at number crunching. You should be able to make sense out of the raw data. If you have that capability, if you have been traditionally good in mathematics, I think this course is meant for you, provided you have some other abstract skills as well. Now, what are those abstract skills? I believe that in order to crack this course successfully, one has to be good at optimism. Now, when I say optimism, there has to be a lot of patience. You have to be a hard-working person, number one. Number two, you have to have a lot of patience in you, because as I said, this course is a minimum 4.5 year course, right? So that also, if you clear all the modules, all the subjects at one go, which doesn't happen with most of us because the pass percentage is. So firstly, I would begin with the Chartered Accountancy course. Now, Chartered Accountancy course is not only about accounting. It encompasses a wide range of business aspects. For example, accountancy is only one of them. Second, you have taxation, auditing, law, even information technology is a part of this course. So to be good at this course, you have to be good at various things. Number one, I would say that you really have to be good at quantitative analysis. You have to be good at number crunching. So you should be able to make sense out of raw data. So if you have traditionally been good at mathematics, you may not find some aspects of this course at all difficult. Secondly, I would say that this is not the only skill which is required. There are various abstract skills as well. So firstly is patience. Any aspiring student, any aspiring chartered accountant have to be very patient. Now, this is a 4.5 years course, provided you clear all the subjects in one attempt. But given the pass percentage that has been there in the past, which is well below 10%, this seems less of a probability. But nevertheless, if you are optimistic, if you believe in yourself, that is achievable. Now, moving on from Chartered Accountancy to the Company Secretary course. Now, what a Company Secretary course is all about? Many people think that CA and CS, they are all related. It's not. CA is breadth. It covers almost, as I said, various aspects of a business, but CS goes into depth of one of these aspects, which is law. So CS, the typical aspect of a CS course is that it is more concentrated towards legal formalities that a company should follow, even the compliance aspect. So if you are pursuing CS, there are various skills that you must develop or you should have. Now, what are those? Number one, the ability to read through fine prints. Now, because you would be reading a lot of subjects which are dealing with law, you should be able to interpret whatever is written in our law, both in letter as well as in spirit. Now, secondly, I believe that apart from your ability to read through this, you should be good at theoretical subjects. Now, CS, let's say out of 100%, more than 60% of the course is theoretical in nature. When I say theoretical, it means that it do not have many of the numerical problems which are very typical of examinations in CA. Again, so if you're good at memorizing the things, if you are good at learning the various theoretical aspects of a business, CS is meant for you. Many of the law students also take up CS as one of their career choices because CS plus LLB is also a very good option for them. Moving on to the next course, which is CWA. Again, CWA goes into the detail of cost and works accounting. So it's very a niche job type of thing that you will be getting after you clear your examination. And the rest of the courses, for example, CFA, MBA, most of these courses can only be pursued after your graduation. So one doubt the students have in mind is, what do I do after class 12? Many of them do not pursue any of such courses and prepare only for MBA or either CFA. But I believe that after class 12, only doing graduation will not suffice in this competitive world. So you will have ample time left with you to actually pursue one of these courses. In my opinion, it would be better if you start off with chartered accountancy because it gives you a good kick to start off with, right? Again, if you are doing chartered accountancy course in the later years of the course, you may find that you can also pursue company secretary, because at least up to the second level of both of these examinations, there are various things that are there in common. So again, giving more introduction about myself, I would say that I did my graduation in BCom Honours from St. Xavier's College, and then I went on to pursue CA and CS both simultaneously. After a certain while, I dropped the idea of CA after clearing 2 levels and securing all India rank in both the levels. So I was an intern with Ernst & Young, and there are certain decisions that we have to take after we actually get used to the practical world, after we realize what do we want to do, what do we don't want to do. So I thought that it would be better for me if I pursue MBA. But still, that's after graduation. I'm talking about the 3 years of your life, which is very crucial. So moving on from CA, CS, what it is all about, I would say that there are huge career opportunities in all of these courses, in various sectors, in almost all the sectors, because be it banking, be it manufacturing, be it service, all of these sectors require the services of these professionals. So you can either start your own firm or you can either be employed somewhere. Now, if you talk about the job, you can either get, for example, let's say you can be a financial analyst, you can be a legal and compliance officer, you can be a taxation expert, you can be in the accounting and the finance department of a company. Apart from that, you can also be in the consulting domain, which is believed to be a niche role for the MBAs, but it's not the case. Even in consulting, investment banking, there are various chartered accountants who are doing pretty well. Apart from that, you can also start your own firm, giving advisory services to the client, working with ROC, etc. So there's a myth around these courses that CA and CS are very difficult to crack. Even they're impossible to crack. Number one, people believe that even if you crack them, you don't get that employment opportunities which you get in the other courses. I believe that's not true. So the only difference is, the only thing which will matter is you and how you are prepared for the course. Right? So now we will talk about the strategies. So talking about the preparation strategy, I would take up each course one by one. So let's first talk about chartered accountancy. Now again, as I said that I have cleared 2 levels of CA, both CPT as well as IPCC. In CPT I scored an All India rank 10 and in IPCC I scored All India rank 9th. Now first thing is that what is the time span over which you should spread your preparation level. Now firstly for CPT, I think the very first thing is you should start from your basics. Now when I say basics, I mean that you should start right from class 11. Now CPT as such has 4 subjects. Number 1 is accountancy, economics, mathematics and law. Now out of these 4, 3 of these subjects except law are covered mostly in your class 11 and 12. So if you have paid attention to your classes in 11 and 12, I think you would be in a much better position to actually crack this entrance examination. But if you have not, still there is nothing to worry about, because I think 2 months of preparation is enough and sufficient for CPT. Now how should you prepare for common proficiency test? Number 1, I would say that taking tuitions is not mandatory at all, because they are the very basic stuff which you have covered in your 11 and 12. If you just revisit those things, I think that would pretty much work for you. And secondly is the institute provide a whole lot of support for CPT. For example, institute comes out with mock test papers, and apart from mock test paper, there are practice manuals that are there for each and every subject, and there are a lot of MCQ questions in them. So practice each and every test as much as you can and then find out where you stand, because 2 months for 4 subjects are more than enough. Now, getting a rank or not getting a rank does hardly matters, in the sense that when you appear for the examination, you are not really sure whether you would crack it or not. So first thing is, don't worry about rank, don't worry about your score, prepare and be consistent in your approach. So it's not that just 2 days before your examination you will start preparing for CPT, given the fact that it's an MCQ. Even if it's an MCQ, it do test you on your conceptual and logical skills. So all the questions which are there are not something which you can memorize and actually blutter there. If at all you feel the need of taking tuitions, do not completely rely on the tutor notes. Go a step ahead, practice from the institute study material as well. Now this is about CPT. After you have cracked your CPT, the next big challenge is IPCC. And believe me, there's a hell lot of difference between CPT as well as IPCC, because they are very different from one another. While CPT would basically concentrate on your basic knowledge, IPCC would go many steps further and would actually prepare you for the industry. Because after IPCC, you would have to work in one of the firms or an industry as article. Now, there is a huge lot of debate actually what is the time span for preparing for IPCC. Some people say that 9 months are sufficient, and they do give both the groups in 9 months. Other people, they do not find 9 months to be sufficient, and they delay their examination by 6 months and then give it in after 15 months. I followed the second approach, because I personally believe that if you are not prepared in 9 months, you should not sit for the examination. It hardly matters whether you take 9 months or 15 months, because at the end of the day, you have to do well in your examination. So be confident about your preparation level, and then only you should appear for the examination. Now, again, there is a conception that one should appear for one group or both the groups. I would say that again, it completely depends on your preparation level. The only benefit that you would get if you sit for both the groups simultaneously is that there is a provision for set off. So if you score less in one group, the marks can be set off with the another. That's the only benefit that you get. Apart from that, you can also sit for one group at a time. Doesn't matter, it will only take 6 months again to because 6 months again for you to reappear the examination. And how should you prepare for IPCC? Firstly, in this case, so when I said that you may not take tuitions in CPT, I believe that taking tuitions in IPCC will go a long way in clearing your conceptual skills, because you would be exposed to a huge number of subjects which you haven't done earlier in your life. For example, taxation, audit, IT, strategic management. So it's better that you take the tuitions, clarify yourself conceptually, and then do not rely solely on the tutor notes. Prepare well from the institute specific study material as well. So go with the practice manual, go with the RTP, revisionary test paper that they come out with, the supplementary papers. Now 9 months may not be a sufficient time to do that, but if you're taking 15 minutes, you should definitely go through them. The reason why I said this was, even if you crack the examination through tutor notes, you will find it very difficult in order to actually clear the interview when you sit for your articleship and to work in the real life scenario. So if you have your taxation provisions clear in your mind, you can actually go and advise the clients. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you. Now, having done IPCC and talked about CA, I think we should talk about CS as well. Now, as far as company secretary is concerned, so there are 3 stages as there are in CA. So we have the foundation, we have the executive, we have the professional examination. Now, for foundation and executive, I believe that there are many subjects which are similar to CA. For example, auditing, taxation, accountancy, IT. So if you have prepared for one course well, the other goes with it. For example, I was pursuing both CA and CS together up to the 2nd level. So I had prepared for CS executive for only 2 weeks, and that should suffice, because I had prepared for my IPCC for 15 months. So that really helped me a lot in cracking my 2nd level. Now, when I move to the 3rd level, which is the professional examination, everything changes right from the scratch, because in the professional level, there are various number of subjects which you have not encountered even in your CA. Now, how should you go about it? Now, when I started preparing for CS professionals, I had almost quit my CA course in order to pursue MBA. So it took me around 2 months to actually cover the entire syllabus for the professional. I did not take any tuitions because I did not feel the need for the same. I felt that institute, whatever study material they have provided, is more than enough. Now, rather than going subject by subject, what I did was, so I took up, let's say I took up one subject known as corporate restructuring, and then I identified that how many of these chapters are linked to the other subjects. For example, you take up company law, you take up corporate restructuring, and you take up secretarial audit. you will find that across these 3 subjects there are various chapters which are common, number 1. Number 2, you will also find that these chapters are strategically divided. For example, secretarial audit is given 20 marks. Now there are 3 chapters in secretarial audit which covers your 20 marks. I think you should work strategically, prepare those 3 chapters first, and then prepare those chapters which are common across the subjects. For example, as I said, for example, let's say mergers and acquisitions. You will find these chapters across a range of subjects in professional. Prepare those chapters first and prepare from the institute study material, because institute study material has given everything in a very simple and a plain text. You need not go for the tutor notes, solely on the tutor notes. But again, there are some subjects. For example, let's take taxation, financial management, ethics. Now those subjects are the ones wherein the institute study material is too technical. So if you have not taken the tuition, I advise you that you arrange the notes from some of the well-known tutors in your locality or in your city and study them, get a hang of the things, and then you may, for additional knowledge, you may actually pursue the institute study material. So what I did was, for taxation, financial management, and for ethics and governance, I followed the tutor notes, whatever was available, and I made sure that the tutor notes cover each and every chapter which is there in institute's study material. Apart from that, recently ICSI has also come out with a few practice manuals, for example for FTFM, which is financial management, and for taxation as well. Go through them before you sit for your examination. That would help you a lot. So this is regarding the preparation level. So this was all about the preparation strategies that should go behind each and every course, be it a CA or a CS. Now having said that, there are many other myths which surround these courses. First of them, first is whether should I pursue my articleship from a big 4, or should I do it from a mediocre firm or a small firm? This is a doubt that most of the students after clearing IPCC do have. Now in that case, I would say them that there are advantages and disadvantages of each of them. For example, let's take the big 4. So I interned in Ernst & Young in the audit department. Now what I found out was that if you are an intern in the big 4, then you will specialize in 1 or 2 domains. For example, I was a part of statutory audit team, and all through your internship period, all through your articleship period, you would be doing the same thing. It's very difficult to actually change your sector or to change your domain, let's say from audit to taxation. So it do not have that kind of flexibility, but again, it do add to your brand name. So once you have been working with a big 4 firm, you get exposed to listed clients or clients having crores of turnover. So again, there's a corporate culture which surrounds this internship period. So you learn to adapt yourself in various situations. You work with big organizations. So that's the edge that you get over the other candidates. But what about a small firm? A small firm will give you the opportunity as well as the flexibility to work across sectors, be it auditing, be it taxation, be it ROC filing. In that way, you get to learn a lot of things which you have read in your IPCC and practically apply them. Secondly, I would say that in a small firm, you get the flexibility to actually manage your study schedule. Because if you are in a small firm, you will be allowed, mostly you will be allowed to take tuitions, you will be allowed to attend your classes, or maybe you will get some extra days of leave, which an article in Big 4 may not. So if you are in a Big 4, you are obviously compromising somewhere or the other on your studies. And if you are in a small firm, you will not get a brand name which is associated with Big 4. I would say make a wise decision and look for yourself what you want to do. So if you think that you can manage your studies, you can manage and handle the pressure well along with articleship, then you should definitely go for Big 4. Otherwise, small firm is not a bad choice at all. Just one piece of advice, that if you are an article in a small firm or a mediocre firm, let's say any firm XYZ, then I would say that after 2 years of articleship, do make a genuine effort to switch to an industrial training. Because through industrial training, you will get an opportunity to work with an MNC company. So since 2 years you have worked across fields, taxation, auditing. In the 3rd year, you would be practically applying them in a big organization. That would add to your CV, and that would also expose you the right corporate culture which is there. So it depends completely on you, on what you want to pursue. There are a lot of rumors about each of them. So do make a strategic choice. Don't believe in the rumors. Secondly, there is a saying that CA involves a lot of sacrifices. You are totally cut out from your social life. It's impossible to do. Even if you crack the examination, there are not that plenty of job opportunities which are there in MBA. I would say that's not correct. Yes, CA involves a lot of perseverance, CA, CS, it involves a lot of sacrifices to be made. You may not be able to attend the family ceremonies or weddings or birthday parties or hang out with friends more often, but that's worth it. Regarding the job opportunities, as I said, there are a lot of job opportunities in each of these courses. So finally, I would say that having devised your strategy to actually prepare for these subjects, for example, let's take the example of company law. So if you are preparing for CS professional company law, then the institute prescribes study material that has one flaw in it. For example, it gives a lot of procedural details which are actually not required from an examination point of view. In that case, you can arrange from a tutor, any tutor in your city, arrange the notes and just match each and every chapter with the institute study material. If that suffices, then read through that. If not, then go through some additional text materials, for example, past year papers, and definitely the suggested answers. Because it is not only it is not sufficient to actually know what type of questions you may expect in the examination, but again, it is also important, equally important, to know what are the answers that they are expecting from you. Because many a times, for example, in law papers, in CS professional, there is a particular way of writing which they are expecting. So the model answers which the examiner look out for is that you start with the case fact, then you give the reference to the case, and then you actually give your point of view and what is stated in the law itself. So follow that pattern in your examination writing as well. Since CS, now what happens during the examination is, this 10 days of examination you have to give almost 9 subjects in 10 days. So what really happens is you do not get a break. Now during that time, it is actually very difficult to revise the entire curriculum in a single day, even less than a day. So what I did was that during the examination, while preparing for my examination 1 month before, I used to mark each and every point and highlight them, whatever I found to be important, and then prepared a strategy accordingly. So what I did was, I said that okay, secretarial audit, there's 20 marks allotted for it and there are 2 chapters. So just 1 day before the examination, I will revise only those chapters that will sufficiently cover 20 marks. Secondly, what I did was that I marked the important chapter based on the past year papers and experiences. I ran through the entire scanner, found out that this chapter has been asked so many times, this question has been asked so many times, that really helps a lot 1 day prior to the examination. Now this is all about the preparation. Finally, I would say that don't give up. Keep preparing, be consistent in your approach, because these courses cannot be done in a day. You have to be consistent throughout, and that's all. For all the aspiring students, I wish them all the best. Don't be nervous. Being nervous is good only to an extent that it helps you keep motivated. But again, keep preparing, and yes, whatever examination you give it in all good spirits, and forget about the examination as soon as you run out of the examination center and prepare for the next examination.